In a darkened study, a single manuscript catches the light. The pages are old, the script unfamiliar, the margins crowded with the careful handwriting of generations. It is called the Sefer Yetzirah, and for nearly 2,000 years, readers have returned to it with the same quiet question. Why would an ancient text describe the creation of the world through letters and numbers, through breath and direction? Long before the word Kabbalah entered common speech, Jewish thinkers were already asking how the world came to be and what role language might play in its making. This is not a story about secret machinery or hidden codes meant to unlock reality. It is a story about a tradition, a community of readers, scribes, and teachers working across centuries. Jewish mysticism is, first of all, a culture of interpretation. Sacred texts are read and reread. Each generation adds its commentary, and the conversation continues. The Sefer Yetzirah belongs to the earliest layer of that conversation. It arrives, in some sense, before Kabbalah has a name. Its title is usually translated as the Book of Creation or the Book of Formation. It is short, only a few pages in most editions, and famously cryptic. For its size, few works in the Jewish tradition have been more influential. Philosophers, poets, and mystics have all returned to it, each finding something different in its spare lines. Tradition attributes the book to the patriarch Abraham. It is a meaningful claim, placing the text at the very root of monotheistic memory. Modern scholars are more cautious. The language and ideas suggest a later composition, somewhere between the 2nd and 6th centuries of the Common Era, though no one can say precisely when or by whom. What survives is the text itself and the long shadow it has cast over Jewish thought. At the heart of the Sefer Yetzirah lies a simple, strange architecture. 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet, 10 sefirot, often translated as enumerations or emanations. Together, 22 and 10, they form what the book calls the 32 paths of wisdom. The letters are presented as building blocks, elements through which the world can be described, contemplated, arranged in the mind. The sefirot are something subtler, not gods, not forces, but 10 aspects of a single creative reality, ways of speaking about how the infinite touches the finite. Taken together, the 32 paths form a pattern, not a mechanism, a symbolic map of creation meant to be studied slowly and held lightly. It is here that the book's quiet ambition becomes clear. It is not trying to explain the universe in the way a scientist might. It is trying to show a shape, a pattern beneath things. And the strangest idea in the Sefer Yetzirah is not simply that letters can describe the universe. It is the suggestion that language and creation belong to the same hidden pattern. To follow that idea is to enter the long history of Jewish mysticism itself, the readers, the schools, the centuries of commentary that grew slowly around this small and singular book. The power of the Sefer Yetzirah was never in its length. It is a remarkably short text, a handful of pages that can be read in an afternoon. Its weight comes from something else. It comes from the centuries of readers who paused over its spare lines and treated each one as a doorway rather than a sentence. In the schools of Jewish mysticism, this small book was rarely read alone. It was studied alongside commentary, and that commentary itself became part of the tradition. Generation after generation, scholars added their voices to its margins. The text grew quieter on the page and louder in the mind, surrounded by layers of interpretation that stretched across continents and centuries. To open the Sefer Yetzirah, then, is to open more than a single work. It is to step into a long conversation, one that the book itself only begins. At the heart of that conversation is a strange and beautiful idea. The world, the text suggests, is built like language. Letters, numbers, and directions are arranged into a kind of architecture. The Hebrew alphabet is grouped and counted. The cardinal directions are named. Above and below, beginning and end, are placed within a single ordered pattern. The elements of nature, the parts of the human body, and the structure of the cosmos are mapped onto one another, as if creation were a single design seen from different angles. It is not a scientific description, and it was never meant to be. It is a symbolic geometry in which word, number, and world are quietly braided together. Tradition places this vision near the very beginning of sacred memory. The Sefer Yetzirah is often attributed to the patriarch Abraham, an attribution that lends the text the weight of origin. Historians treat that claim with care. The book's true authorship is unknown, and its date has long been debated, with estimates spanning many centuries. What survives is not a single pristine manuscript, but several recensions, shorter and longer versions that differ in wording and arrangement. The text we read today is itself a layered inheritance. Around this small and uncertain book, a much larger imagination took shape. In later centuries, readers spoke of the letters of creation as if they could be combined and recombined. From those speculations grew the legend of the golem, a figure shaped from earth and animated in story through sacred letters and divine names. These tales are best understood as later legend, as cultural imagination reaching back toward an ancient text. They tell us less about the Sefer Yetzirah itself and more about the awe it inspired. The book was never the whole of Kabbalah. It was a seed, not the tree. In the medieval period, works such as the Bahir and later the Zohar developed far richer symbolic systems with their own vocabulary of divine emanations and hidden worlds. The Sefer Yetzirah stands earlier and quieter behind these works. It offers an outline that later mystics would expand into vast and intricate landscapes of meaning. Seen from this distance, the title begins to settle into focus. The Book of Formation is not a manual of secret powers, nor a coded key to the universe. The Sefer Yetzirah does not give us a machine for making worlds. It gives us something quieter and perhaps more enduring. A vision of creation as language, number, body, and mystery woven into one hidden order.